Yo, what is good, y'all? It is your boy, Quack Gaming, and we are back with another episode. I wanted to play COD Mobile, right? Which is what we're gonna do, but I also wanted to, while I play this, to go back on my past experiences with COD, dating back to basically my first ever COD game. I'm basically gonna go while I play this. I'm basically gonna go through, like, in order, what COD games I played. So, okay, so basically to start off, I started my gaming experience with one of the older PS2s, not the ones that are like the bigger size, but one of those flat PS2s. I don't know how to explain it, but there's two versions that I had of the PS2. The flatter one is the one that I played the most because that is the first one that I got. So I remember my grandma got me a bunch of like PS2 games because it was like the first console that I got, and at that time I didn't have a game to play. And I remember that the very first Call of Duty game that I had ever played was the World at War ripoff, which actually came out on, the PS2, but came out on the same day, I believe, that the original World at War was coming out, which is the one that started, COD Zombies. And back then, I thought that was like a masterpiece, but I didn't know it was a ripoff. First of all, see, in the PS2 version, it's just a campaign. It's like a 4-hour campaign with like similar people with Pulaski and Roebuck, except neither one of them die at the end of it. You do end the game at, Shuri Castle like you do in the original World at War campaign, but this one has some pretty bad graphics. I mean, what do you expect for a PS2? But yeah. So that was the very first COD that I ever played. Plus, in the campaign, like, you get no zombies, you have no multiplayer. It's literally just campaign or options. You play, I think, 4 different campaigns. You play as a tanker. You play as Private Miller from the original. Then you play a Frenchman. I can't remember his name. And I think there was maybe one more. I'm not really sure. But that was the first ever COD game that I had ever played. The second one was the not World at War, but the Finest Hour, which actually with my PS2, I actually had to wait until I got the bigger one, right? Because for some reason there was a bunch of issues with my PlayStation, to where like at the beginning of the first mission, I remember you're in the boat sitting, and that guy is talking to you about kill the Germans, right? And it would like kind of static out his voice to make it unbearably painful to listen to. So I had to wait until I actually fully got a better a PS2. Funny enough, I don't really remember a whole lot from the Finest Hour. It it wasn't one of my favorite ones. I can't lie, it wasn't. I think I played it maybe 3 times before I eventually just gave up. I think I finished it, but I think I did it on like the easiest settings, just so I could get the nostalgia for it, but then not have to put in a bunch of effort to do anything. Which leads into the third Call of Duty game that I ever played, which was the Big Red one. Which actually, growing up, besides the rip-off World at War, was one of my favorite Call of Duty games of all time. Back on the PS2, um, maybe it is still my no. I don't know. We'll get to that in a second. Big Red 1, was one of my favorites. Like I said, and I'm trying to remember how it starts out exactly. I know you. I remember the characters. I don't remember the main person you play as, but I remember, Bloomfield, which Bloomfield was my favorite one out of the bunch. Big Red 1 was actually the first Call of Duty game that I ever decided to play on hard mode. I say that because on the rip-off World at War, you could play on hard mode, and it's basically just like every other mode. I don't, this is the PPSH is the main gun that I use, and it has terrible like accuracy. And of course, it could also be me. That's another thing. Anyway, the Big Red 1 was the very first one that I basically beat on hard mode. So where the heck did that come from? Anyway, and looking back on it, I really enjoyed it because I always thought that the characters in it were some of the best that I've seen, especially Bloomfield. But although I remember at the end of it, he died at the end, which kind of pushed me back a little bit. What was I getting shot at? Oh, thank you, sir. And overall, not a whole lot to say about it. I enjoyed it. I think it was one of the harder ones that I had played when I was that age. Keep in mind, I was like 9 years old. Nah, I didn't do that. Maybe I was 11. I was around there. I was around the time that I was playing like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. So, anyways, the next Call of Duty that I had ever played, let's see. We discussed Finest Hour, discussed World at War, discussed Big Red 1. The next one, I think, shifts over to the Xbox 360 days, which is, I'm trying to think. The first Xbox 360 Call of Duty game that I ever played was actually the original World at War. And I completely enjoyed it. I was confused because when I first when I had first bought it, right, I was thinking it was the ripoff. Because the ripoff is literally the same cover. It's literally called World at War, but it's a complete ripoff. Which is why when I originally bought it, I was kind of having that expectation. So when I had started it and found out that it wasn't, it was definitely a mind-blowing experience. And then I never had to go through the pain of, having to beat World at War on Veteran to unlock zombies. I kind of had already added unlocked. I don't know if that's just a new thing that I started doing or what. So that World at War was the very first zombies that I had ever played. I think out of both the campaigns, I would have to say that the one with Dimitri was definitely my all-time favorite. Now, as for my all-time favorite character, I think it has to go to Reznov. I think it has to go to the homie Reznov. Because even now, like, Reznov was just, one of the most iconic characters I've seen in, a Call of Duty game. Roebuck and Pulaski didn't really stand out to me that well. And I remember my first playthrough, I think I saved Pulaski. I liked Pulaski a little bit better than Roebuck, not gonna lie. And then I've replayed it again, and I played it like 3 different times. Yeah. I think I played it several times. Yeah, I did because I remember I started it on normal. I always start my playthroughs on normal, right? Just to get a feel of the game. And then as soon as I'm done with normal, I switch it to the hardest difficulty. And let me tell you, that was actually, honestly, that was a lot more difficult than the Big Run 1. Especially the sniper section, which I eventually beat after like the 7th try. I'm surprised it didn't take me a lot longer than that. But I finally beat it after the 7th try. And I was so happy to be done with it. I think I still haven't finished Veteran, by the way, but I'm pretty sure that I completed it up to the bunker, the very last bunker in Burn 'em Out. I think I got that far. And then I think I paused the game and then went through the train section of Veteran, beat that. And I think I only had like maybe 4 or 5 more Veteran levels that I had to do that, I still haven't went back to do. I've been playing a lot of Fallout New Vegas and BioShock and stuff like that. Now, for the next one, it, yeah, this one I didn't really like. See, it was, what the hell? I didn't even see anybody there. Anyways, it was Call of Duty 3. I don't know if it had like a subtitle for it, or if it was literally just called Call of Duty 3. But that was the next one in the chain that I had played. And to be honest, there were so many glitches on there that I couldn't have a good experience with the game. For example, you would be shot through like barriers just out of nowhere. Like you could be behind like this wall like right here, or like a perfectly solid wall like right back here, and they would shoot you through it. I did like the name, and I'm sorry I'm saying a lot. I don't really, strategize my recordings. I kind of, play it by ear, which is why when I say I know that gets annoying, but that's like, it gives me like a couple seconds to think of what I'm trying to say, which is why I do it. It's kind of like a strategy for me to, think of what I want to say, and then, have that for a couple more seconds. Anyways, you know what I mean. Well, that sucks. Anyway, I did like the main character Nipples. I just always found that name funny. What the hell? I heard him too. I just couldn't react fast enough. Anyways, I always liked that name. Yes, because I find it. Okay, well at least we got the guy. I always found that like a funny name, just to be like be in a war, and then to have the name Nipples, which I guess, I guess maybe that's what they were going for. But I did find a comment on something saying like somebody on one of the videos that I used to watch on Sour, he did all the veteran campaigns. He said there was somebody who said that they couldn't concentrate on killing anything because of the name Nipples, which I found to be, kind of funny. I see that dog too. Where is it? Okay, cool. Now for the next one, okay. I thought I could at least get that one, but no. The next one that I played is one of my OGs, one of my OG top favorite ones. I thought I got him too. I think it went over. Which is, Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1 was the first, masterpiece to me. Like, it was I did not mean to throw that. It was a legendable game to me. Like I said, I enjoyed it the most because it brought back the continuation of Reznov and Dimitri. Even though Dimitri dies, it was still fun to you know, to relive that nostalgia again. Well, I was gonna blow it up, and honestly, the way they killed Dimitri off, I kind of wish they didn't do. I mean, I don't know. It just wasn't, I don't feel like it was an honorable death to me. You know what I mean? I feel like he should have gone out, like Reznor said, as a hero should have, but not, something as a rat or whatever. And then I can't exactly remember, which is why that part of it kind of threw me off. I did enjoy that I mentioned because it also brought back like the Sten and the PPSH, which is what I'm using now because I love the PPSH. The main story with Mason, I did enjoy that. I mean, I know that was the main plot of the game, but I just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of liked the main parts where Reznor was in it. And the first time that I played it, I knew that he wasn't real because I was joking around and trying to actually, stab him. Because normally, if it's like a real teammate, you can't stab them. And so when I did, it actually hit, and there was actually, the blood effect. So that's how I knew he wasn't real my first time playing. Funny enough, I can remember how to do the Easter egg in World at War for the ray gun on the second mission, I believe. But I cannot figure out how to do the thunder gun. I found the one part of it, and I know I gotta take out all the gas tanks in that beginning of that level, but it's just way too confusing for me to figure out how to do. Maybe I could do it on recruit, but you see, if like the enemy is the one who takes it out, then it don't count, which is what I think screws me over sometimes. Now, the next one on the list, I gotta actually think here because I may be a little bit out of order. No. The next one that I played was the OG Modern Warfare, which I loved. Let's see. Out of the original Modern Warfare, I know a lot of people are gonna think I'm gonna say Price, but I think I like Gaz more, or Soap. Actually, my all-time favorite out of the Modern Warfare series was Soap. I think second was Ghost, and then third had to be Roach, and then like Price is like the last, sort of the last one. I think I prefer Price over Gaz. Oh shit. But all in all, Soap was the OG, and maybe Soap. Why am I saying maybe? Soap was an OG. He was a legend. But I always liked Soap a lot better. The first Modern Warfare was actually the first one that I actually sat through and actually, I don't know how to explain it. It was the first Modern Warfare that I actually, tried to start out on Veteran. Like normally, like I said, I start my games on medium, and then I do it on Veteran. But that was the first one that I what? Oh, okay. That was the first one that I ever decided to do on Veteran. The first playthrough, not even knowing what I was doing. And surprisingly, after maybe a week of playing, I actually beat it on Veteran. And I had gotten almost all the achievements for it, except for the beginning, where you gotta do the obstacle course. I'm not very good at it. Probably could be. I actually... If I actually sat down and tried to learn the stuff, I know it isn't super hard. pause, but you know, I feel like I could do it eventually. I just haven't really put in the time to actually work through it. And obviously, the next one after that, I played in order, which is the OG Modern Warfare 2. And growing up, I had always wanted to play it because I had heard people say that it was the best game that they had played out of the COD series. And so I always wanted to you know, what that experience was like. And I got the game pretty cheap. I didn't buy it off the Microsoft store. I didn't have $20 then. But I did get it for a reasonable amount, maybe $12 at one of the local game stores near me. They sell like a lot of the games cheaper, which is why I normally get my games from there. And when I played it, I instantly fell in love with it. I'm not even gonna lie. I think Shepard was one of my favorite antagonists in Call of Duty. I think that, trying to think of his name. The villain that is also in the third one that also caused the No Russian mission. The main villain in that. And I can't remember his name. I could if I say him long enough to think about it, but we ain't got enough time for all that. I think Prevent. No. Is it Maktovich? It's something. But anyway, I think he was kind of, my least favorite. Even though he was supposed to be like the main antagonist for it. Or maybe Shepard was. I think maybe Shepard was. I'm not really too sure. The point I'm trying to make is I like Shepard way more than I liked Maktovich. I still don't know if that's the right person. I don't know. I don't think that's the right person. I think that's Soap. Maybe that's Soap. I don't know. I can't remember the names that well. And then, lastly, for the final game in the Call of Duty franchise that I had played, it was BO2. And not gonna lie, I always thought that BO1 was the top G. And I was wrong because once I played BO2, it opened up a brand new world to me that I loved. My first playthrough, let me think. My first playthrough, because I know there's several steps that you gotta do to get the good ending. Okay, let me see. I saved, that girl, and I can't remember the name of her. And then I didn't know what to do for Harper, but I did, burn the side of his face, sadly. And then, I never played the second, the second part of the missions, like the more futuristic type. I never really played those, and I probably should have. I was just kind of more focused on, Frank Woods. Actually, to be honest, out of those three, out of Mason, Woods, and Bowman, Woods was my favorite, and then I think Bowman, which, obviously he dies in BO1 and is played by the legendary Ice Cube. But he was my second favorite, and then it was Mason. As for, that bald-headed guy with the glasses that was in BO1, that was actually a shock to me that, he died. Or even second of all, that he was, I guess, assuming from the story, if I understood, that he was a traitor, basically. So watching him die was crazy to me. Man. Just this is nostalgia, just going back through here, and talking to y'all about this. I sadly never played BO3. I tried to get it on my Xbox 360, and sadly I found out that it was just a bundle, and it didn't come with the single player campaign. It was just a bundle for multiplayer. So sadly, I never got to play BO3. I did watch the playthrough of it, and the graphics look amazing. But sadly, I couldn't keep up with the whole story and the futuristic style of it. And sadly, I never got to play Advanced Warfare. I never got to play that, sadly. Oh, wait, no. There is another one that I played, and I forgot about this one, actually, but now that I'm looking up on my desk, I actually see it. I did play Call of Duty Ghosts. And I am on the boat of it is a really good game. The campaign with Logan and his brother, and I never really cared too much for his dad. I think that part of it was kind of well put out there, even if you weren't really paying attention. So it kind of felt like that was going to happen. Rourke is maybe my second best favorite supervillain out of the Call of Duty franchise. Um, I think my favorite part of Call of Duty Ghost had to be the second mode, which was the I'm trying to think of what it's called. I really don't. Huh. Dang, I wish I knew what it was called. The second mode in the game where you had extinction. There we go, extinction. I think that was my favorite part of Call of Duty Ghosts. The campaign was amazing. I think my favorite part of the campaign was the space levels. I think that was like a masterpiece to me. I think that was pretty cool to be up in space. First of all, it was kind of hard to move around, but in the end, I kind of enjoyed it a lot better than you know Call of Duty 3 with all those glitches and shit. But I just wanted to make this video. This might not be for everybody, and that's okay. But I wanted to make this video because I wanted to live some nostalgia. So thank y'all for joining me, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, y'all.